Hello everyone, welcome to Steven Shinder Reviews in video form. I'm continuing my coverage of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Probably not going to be a long video, I'm not getting too in-depth here, but I will say that this felt very much like the Neil episode. And again, I'm going to assume that you've seen the episode already, but if you haven't, I'll say to you that I enjoyed this one as well. I thought it was a solid 8 out of 10, mainly due to the message that it conveys. But yeah, so if you're fine with me going into some of the details, maybe not all of them, like beginning to end, but basically the kids end up on this planet and they end up away from Jod and SM-33. They encounter the this like clan or sect, uh, these warriors that are fighting like this other faction. They're fighting against the Hattin soldiers, I believe. I was trying to stay in the loop with the subtitles and whatnot, but yeah, they meet someone named Hana, and she looks like she might be several years older than these kids, perhaps. She does this cool like slide move thing, which I'm sure is gonna be some stupid discourse online. The way that cool spin that one of the bikers in the Book of Boba Fett did. Man, those that Mandalorian storyline in the middle of Book of Boba Fett really did irreparable damage to that show. Um, but yeah, like in that moment, I thought to myself, there's probably gonna be some stupid discourse online about this, and when people should just not fixate so much on that. But anyway, um, I really like how Hana notices that Neil is very kind. He wants to make sure that uh, others have something to eat. And he even at one point says, if it were me, I would tell the other side, sorry, I don't want to fight. And, it might sound very naive, but this is something that I really wish would happen in wars. Neil says, but maybe that's just because I get too scared. You shouldn't listen to me. And it's really sad that there's that mentality that if you don't fight a war, like if you don't allow wars to be a thing, then you are a coward. I've talked here yesterday about how I rewatched the animated Tolkien feature films the other day. One of them was The Hobbit, and in that version, Thorin picks on Bilbo for not understanding war, and by the end, it's like Bilbo knew best all along that war is a terrible thing. And yeah, I know that it's Star Wars, but I thought this was really nice how, Neil is told that basically that more people should be like him, should be kinder to each other like him. And because, in real life, I'm really tired of seeing that people of all ages are getting killed every day. And for what? Like all this, like, war should not be a thing. Like, everyone, ideally, people should be able to talk it out. And yeah, so I think it really hit hard, like, just how this episode was focusing on the kindness of Neil. And he also has a bit of a moment to shine later in the episode when SM-33 is kind of, I guess, malfunctioning or something, and he tries to lure the droid away, but then Jod turns off the off switch, and Neil does faint, but the heart that Neil has is just he's a true friend. This character. As for Jod, you kind of keep questioning, like, is he trustworthy? Is he not? He does eventually help the kids. He comes back and he admits to stealing the credits from them. But I think it seems like he does have heart, but there's still a little bit of questioning that you could aim toward him, I suppose. I mean, there's the alias Crimson Jack. I quite like how Star Wars social media pointed out that this was also the name, and I'd forgotten this until I looked up the name right after recording my review of the previous episode. Crimson Jack was this sort of rogue pirate character in the classic Marvel Star Wars comics, and then they brought him into canon in the Halcyon Legacy comics miniseries that Marvel put out not too long ago, although it feels kind of long ago. And I believe that Crimson Jack, rather than being in the original trilogy era, was in the sequel trilogy era. And it looks so different from Jod here, so it was gonna be tough for me to reconcile them being the same person. So I kind of assumed, okay, it's an alias like the Dread Pirate Roberts, and lo and behold, Star Wars social media mentioned that Crimson Jack is also the name of this other character, thus showing that Jod may not be completely honest about who he is. So I like that they pointed that out. But yeah, I want to trust Jod, but I'm curious about whether something could happen that could have like some fallout between the characters and whatnot. But yeah, and the title is um, can't say I've heard of an Attin, or I think I may have said that wrong. Can say, um, but it is said by SM33. I'm pretty sure I forgot to say that off the top of the recording. But yeah, again, so these episodes are, their titles come from the dialogue in the show. Um, why is it so tough for the title of this episode to come up? I don't understand. Um, like it's been out for like an hour and a half. Um, but yeah, so the episode is titled "Can't Say I Remember No at Attin." Jeez, that was such a get it together, internet. But yeah, like I said, I enjoyed this episode and the message that it conveyed. I feel like I don't see as many people talking about Skeleton Crew as they were about the Acolyte or even Ahsoka, maybe. So I'm not sure that the viewership is as big as it was for previous shows. I also kind of feel like maybe it's not being marketed as much unless I'm looking in the wrong places. And it's been pointed out that there isn't really a lot of merch for this show, like toys and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of prepared for the possibility that this could just end up being a one season show. They the creatives did say that if they were to make a second season, there would be a time skip. So that to me shows that they have a at least a complete story in mind for this season. And even if there's no second season, hopefully we could see these characters in other things, books, comics, maybe even video games. I mean, it's Star Wars, so characters could pop up anywhere. But yeah, we're halfway through this show. I'm quite enjoying it. I guess the next episode comes out Christmas Eve. I'm not sure how soon I'll be able to review it. It might take a couple of days depending on what's going on then. But yeah, again, thought this was a good episode. 8 out of 10. Really like the message of it. And I kind of predict that maybe the other characters will have a bit more of their focus each episode from here on out. Or, yeah, because it kind of feels like it's been split between the characters for the most part so far. So, yeah, let me know what you think of the episode. And thanks for tuning in, and see you all soon.